back to Sunset's Ponies, everyone. I want to tell you about my recent trip. So I had the opportunity to kind of be in a similar area as a Breyer Flagship store. So there's none close to me. The nearest one is 2 hours away. In fact, there's two in the same town, but they're 2 hours away, and those are the closest ones to me. So I kind of was in the sort of area. I may have made a big U-turn a little out of the way, but I had another reason to be traveling, so I was made the trip to the Breyer Flagship store, and it was the first time that I have been to one, and I was very excited about it. It was in Weatherford, Texas, which is just a little west of Fort Worth. And they actually had two places that sold Breyer horses. So it was lots of fun for me. It was first time. I did not record because my battery on my phone was a little low and I still had a 2-hour travel back. So I didn't want to completely run the battery down. I did take a couple of pictures. I wish I had taken more, but I'll show them to you. You can see all of this horsey heaven Breyer goodness. I was very excited about all the unicorns, which I'd already bought all the ones I really wanted, but I just liked looking at them mostly. And then you can also see on the very bottom left, you can see one of the new recent Breyer releases. I don't remember the name right off the top of my head. I'll put it in the video, but it's the brightly colored, rainbow colored on the Bobby Joe mold. I didn't get her because there were other horses I was more interested in getting at the time. But anyway, they had lots of stuff. It was lots of fun. So I'm going to just show y'all what I came home with. Okay, so here is everything that I got. So the first one, very exciting. One of the things I was especially wanting was the brand new Rhea, I think is how you pronounce it, limited edition model that Breyer just released and can only be bought in brick and mortar stores. So you cannot order it online unless you buy it from a secondhand. You can't buy it from Breyer directly. You have to go to a store that actually sells Breyer products in order to get her. And there are only 2,500 that were made. So it was very exciting to be able to go in the store, and they had 4 of them. And I got to pick which one I wanted. So that was lots of fun, and I will open her in just a minute. And I'll go ahead and pull the little ones out. So I got these little guys, which I've been looking at for a little while. I've been thinking about buying them on the website, but then I didn't want to pay shipping for these little guys. So I was able to pick all of these up. And these I think I will save for a different video another time. But they're all little horse families, and each one has a surprise foal, so you don't know what the color is until you open it. So, and cute little unicorns, so those are fun. And then this guy has been out for quite some time, several years. But I don't have this one. It's the first Gypsy Vanner I have, and I've been eyeing it for a while. I've been thinking about it. I'm really contemplating buying one off of eBay, and but he wasn't at the top of my list of things to get in this trip. So at the first store, I passed him up because he was full price, but at the second store, he was on sale, so I got him for cheaper, and I couldn't resist going ahead and getting him. Okay. What do you think? watch you get in. Alright, so last but not least, I got this guy. So Breyer did a 70th anniversary, several things for their 70th anniversary, but one of the things they did do is release a line of traditional models that celebrated different eras and with Breyer. And but they sold them as kind of a blind box type thing. So if you bought it online, you paid for the horse, but you didn't know which one you were going to get. So the nice thing again about going to the store was that there was the possibility that you'd be able to check out get the one that you wanted if they had it. So there were 4 that were in the line plus a chase. So 5 horses total. But I didn't see the chase at all, but I did see all the other 4 horses. But this is the one I really wanted. This is on a very recent mold that was only just released last year. And this is the first model that was released in a more of a widespread availability, because the other releases on this model would have been either in the Premier Club or the very limited horse that was released for Breyerfest. So I'm very excited to open him. So I'm going to open up all of the traditionals. Alright, so I'm going to start with the most recent release because I know that that's what some of y'all will be really excited about seeing. So let's open her up. Alright, so here she is, beautiful Rhea. I was very excited when I saw her, and I have, of course, since I started collecting very recently, I have just been poring over all of the Breyer websites, especially Identify Your Breyer. And when I saw the horse Make-A-Wish, I thought that was just a beautiful model. I loved the head down, I loved the tail up and swishy. I just thought it was just really beautiful. So when I saw this one came out and it wasn't like super limited, and I thought I might be able to get this one, I was very excited. She doesn't have the exact same tail as the Make-A-Wish model, but I do like this tail better than the big long one because I feel like that one, the big long tail option, just makes this mold look heavy in my opinion, but that could be just because I really love the one that has the tail all high and flippy. But I just love her head down like this. I love the mane. And when I was picking her out, I did pick the one that had like some darker shading. And also she does have these lovely dapples. And I was able to pick out the one that has just some very subtle dappling. Because you know, the dappling comes off different depending on the paint job, because they're all individually painted. So she has these beautiful white socks on a bay, and that is one of the things I also think is really pretty, is this shading down to black and then the hard line on the white socks. I also love this because I have one of my cats, Farley, he's a Berman mix, and they have some similar type thing going on in which they have dark points, but then they have the little white toes, and I think it's just really lovely, and so this just really appeals to me. She is just really beautiful. I really don't have any complaints, other than I would have been just over the moon if she had the flippy tail, but I'm perfectly happy with what she has, and I love this. I love anytime there's lots of flowy hair, but this is just a really beautiful model. I am very excited for her. Alright, so let's look at this saddlebred. Supposed to be representing the 2010 and 2020s for Breyer. This being a brand new model to represent this new time period. On these particular special anniversary boxes, they have this really cool panel on the back with cool graphics, and it tells you a little bit about what was going on during this era for Breyer, so that's pretty cool. Also kind of talks about some other saddlebreds released throughout their history, so that's really neat. Okay, so here's this guy. He is just beautiful. He doesn't come with a name as far as I can tell. It just says saddlebred on his box, and he's Palomino, which I've always had a weakness for. Palominos, they're just really beautiful, and this is a beautiful example. This is the first horse I've had that's had this really pearly tail, like really pearly, and I remember reading a couple of complaints about that on somewhere, and maybe other people are tired of it, but I think they could pearlize the mane and tail on every horse ever, and I would be just happy, because I think it is gorgeous. He is just really pretty. He has lots of dappling on his flanks and his barrel and his shoulders. He's just really pretty. I can see, just observation, because of the way the tail is molded, it looks like they have a hard time getting that paint up in there on his rump underneath where that tail comes out a little bit. But I've never showed horses, so I don't know, that's a really big, huge deal for me. And yeah, he is just beautiful. The only thing is I might be worried about him being a little tippy, just in case, anything happens. If the cats, for example, should attempt to jump up on my shelves. They haven't tried to so far, but you never know. So I'll just have to make sure I don't put him in a precarious position. But that tail is just glorious. That's just a glorious tail. That's all I can say. So he's I hesitate to say metallic, but there is a slightly gold metallic look going on, in my opinion. But I love it. I think it's beautiful. He has whites in his eyes. So yeah, I don't really see any flaws other than, having trouble getting the paint up underneath that tail there. But also, again, I don't show, so I don't really know with the very, very tiny flaws. But I'm happy with him regardless. He's just beautiful. Oh, I can't get over that tail. I just love it. And the mane is gorgeous too, but this is a great tail. All that flowy hair. So he also has socks just like Rhea does. Hooves are the same. There's no markings or anything on either of their hooves. So he's just beautiful in my opinion. Okay. Now for the Gypsy Vanner. He also doesn't have a specific name. He's just called the Gypsy Vanner, which is the name of his breed. And y'all may not be very excited about this because he's been out for several years. He's just magical in my opinion. So let's open him up. Okay, just look at this guy. Oh, he's so awesome. So I do have this mold in the stablemates version. They basically shrunk this mold down to the little stablemates. And they did make a unicorn ornament that's in the stablemate scale a few years ago. And I think that is just awesome. So I am just waiting for them to make a traditional size unicorn using this mold. It's just with all the hair. It needs to be not one of the alternate versions of this mold that have less hair. I want all the hair, the flying hair and horn. And also I would love to have some patterns. Like I've noticed a lot of the Breyer unicorns tend to be some version of very pastel white with very pastel colors in there. I'm saying you need to go bold. Granted, as you can see, I am a long-time My Little Pony fan, so I'm not afraid of color. I want there to be like basically this version only in blue or something like that. Blue body fading into purple hair or something crazy like that. But this guy is so much fun. I love all the hair. I love the dynamic. I was thinking about it earlier, and I do really love the dynamic poses, especially when the head is turned a little bit. When they're facing straight on, even if they're really moving, from an aesthetic standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, it's just not quite as interesting as when they are turning in some way. That just makes it more interesting dynamic pose. So this guy is just great. He has the same thing going on, that he's a bay paint. So he has the dark right against the light, and he has lots of shading. And so he is just really cool. I am very excited to have him in my collection. I may have to still at some point attempt to get a body version of this and attempt to make my own unicorn. That would be cool. I already have ideas of, obviously the different paints, what I would love for him to colors and everything. I don't know what else to say about him besides he's really cool, and I love all the color. And he has, you can even see his hooves have even been done on the underside. Even like this hoof, when it's sitting down, you can't even see it. You can't even see that hoof. But it's painted under here and molded. And that's really cool. So speaking of customizing, when BreyerFest happened, I did try my hand at some stuff, and I will show you real quick what I have. This is partially done, and I haven't been able to get back to her since, BreyerFest happened, really. And I've never really done any model customizing at all. I took some sculpture classes in college, but I'm consider myself more of a painter than a sculptor, and I don't usually do a whole lot of customizing even with My Little Pony, but I just really got into it. So I took the old-fashioned running mare, and I also bought myself a little Dremel, and I went crazy. And so I redid her head. I was not entirely happy with her neck because, again, I didn't know what I was doing. So at some point I'm gonna have to get back to working on her, and obviously she's gonna be unicorn, of course. I even drilled her a hole in her head in preparation for that at some point. But I got to get her neck figured out, and then I have to do hair, and it's going to be a whole thing. And at some point I'll get back to working on her, but I do definitely have visions in my head about what she's going to look like. So I just thought I'd show that to y'all. I'll, if I ever get around to making more progress on it, I'll show y'all again how she turns out. So here we are with my Breyer store haul, and I got all of these wonderful goodies. I'm very excited about them. I was very tempted by some other horses as well, but in the end these are the ones that I went with, and I am very excited to put them up on my shelves. So we will see you again later. Bye.